Hello, and welcome to Season 1, Race 20 of my F1 2021 My Team Career Mode for the Acura Team Penske team. We're here at Brazil for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Qualified P5. Got both Mercedes, the Ferrari of Leclerc, and the Red Bull of Verstappen ahead of us, with Perez right behind us in the other Red Bull. Championship standings, of course, is very close. Max Verstappen taking the points lead after Sergio Perez DNF'd in his home Grand Prix in Mexico. Lewis Hamilton got his third win in the last 4 races to keep his title hopes alive for the moment. Obviously, everybody from me on down is out of the championship at this point. And Hamilton is really, trying to claw his way back from a pretty big deficit, so he's going to need all the help he can get, and he probably needs to finish ahead of Verstappen to really gain the most points on him. So, and of course we will see if we get any grid penalties that potentially will shake up the running order. Very close to gaining that new sponsor. Hoping I can get that before the end of the season, just to get some extra cash to come in for the last 2 races. If I had to guess, I probably won't be able to unlock that until maybe after Australia. So it'd be for Saudi Arabia and the final race in Abu Dhabi where we would have that sponsorship. So,
all right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
Weather getting a little cloudy near the end, but shouldn't be much of an issue in terms of worrying about any rain. On the development side, we jumped back ahead of Alpine, I believe. Actually, I think we were already ahead. But, yeah, so basically how it is right now, Mercedes still has a slight edge over Red Bull. Ferrari had some big gains the last 2 weeks, so that would explain Leclerc having a strong qualifying effort. And then it's basically a giant wad of teams, basically from 4th through, I guess, 9th. So that's 6 teams. They're all like really close to the midfield. So, Mercedes and Red Bull, they're a slight step ahead of Ferrari, and then Ferrari is a slight step ahead of pretty much everyone else between McLaren and Alpine. So McLaren, AlphaTauri, Aston Martin, Alfa Romeo, Acura, Team Penske, and Alpine are all very close, and then of course Williams and Haas bring up the rear. We still have some 3 minor upgrades that are set to come in before the Australian Grand Prix, which, if I check the date, that is the 19th. Yeah, so all 3 of those upgrades should be in time for Australia. Get this one here, adapting some more parts. We can actually adapt a lot here because, so we get this one that costs 0 points. We've got this one here that costs 9 points. And we've got, I could go with either one of these. I guess I'll go with the gearbox. So, yeah, we're pretty close to. We just need to protect this one ICE durability upgrade, and then we're good. Still got a little bit more ways to go with this. Only 4 more, but that's not too bad. We should be able to protect everything by the time the season comes to the final race. So, yeah, it's looking good there. And, yeah, not much else to say, so let's get straight into the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Welcome along then to the place where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the final corner. And it's the place, a year later, that Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's Interlagos, and it's time for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We're racing today then at Interlagos, a historic 2.7-mile circuit, and one of the few anti-clockwise tracks on the calendar. 15 corners in total, 9 to the left and 6 to the right, with a technical middle section opening up to a flat-out Sector 3. And that gives us our best passing opportunity down into Turn 1. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Let's talk about the Golden Boy. That was a solid result in their last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and the Golden Boy completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, and Hamilton. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Ricciardo, Stroll, Gasly, and Sergio Perez. Giovinazzi, Norris, Christian Lundgaard, and Vettel. Ocon, they've taken a grid penalty. Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, and Nikita Mazepin. Latifi, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Mick Schumacher, Raikkonen, and Max Verstappen completes the grid.
So the grid penalties have really messed things up here in terms of the starting grid. Max Verstappen, the championship leader, is starting dead last. Sergio Perez dropped from P6 to P10. Lewis Hamilton dropped from I think it was P3 or 4 to P6. The biggest beneficiary by far is Valtteri Bottas. Now remember, he's actually only 8 points out of the championship lead. So this could be a huge, huge weekend for Valtteri Bottas if he goes on to win this race. Also huge for Lewis Hamilton. He can gain points on both Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen. So it's a big weekend for Mercedes, despite all the grid shuffling because of the penalties. And yeah, we'll just have to see how it turns out, and if Verstappen can work his way through the field and into the points. So, strategy-wise, it's showing a one-stop. I think we could actually make it to the mediums instead of going on the hards, but we'll see. And, yeah, this will be another no commentary race. So, hope you enjoy what should be a very eventful Brazilian Grand Prix.
Right, let's get the car up to temperature on this lap. We're learning the gears, so go through them all if you can. The drivers we're racing are Bottas and Sainz. conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment. As things stand, we'll be 5th in the championship. Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch. DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. We're leading our teammate by 8.2 seconds. Gap to the car ahead is around 2 seconds. Right, some information on Hamilton. They have some kind of mechanical problem. We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs. Gap to teammate behind is 16.9 seconds. Be careful, we think you're going to start losing some tyre grip around now. We're boxing this lap. Give us the best in-lap you can. Keep the car ahead under pressure. You might make a mistake. The gap is only 2 seconds. we're leading our teammate by 21.6 seconds. Sainz is the fastest man on the track right now. He's just posted the fastest lap of the race. Understood, stopping this lap. Affirmative, medium tyres at the next stop. Release, release. Only one stop to go. One stop left in this strategy. Christian is in the pits. Christian in the pits. Gap to teammate behind is 29.4 seconds. The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap. Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Understood, copy that. We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs. We're leading our teammate by 39.9 seconds. Pit window open. Let's box this lap. Gap to teammate behind is 44.6 seconds. Gasly has set the fastest lap of the race so far. green flag. No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. There's 5 laps of fuel remaining. You've lost some time to the car behind. Try to stay with him, he might make a mistake. He could still regain the position. There's 3 laps of fuel remaining. This is your final lap of the race. You worked hard for that one. Congratulations.
A great race then, very much as we've come to expect, and a fantastic win here at Interlagos. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
A show-stopping performance from the 3 drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure. Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Valtteri Bottas passes his rival to take over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Now, let's discuss, Ant, who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
Well, there you go. That was a very eventful Brazilian Grand Prix. And in the end, we get our second career win as Joseph Newgarden for Acura Team Penske. Duel in the last part of the race with Valtteri Bottas. You know, we got by Leclerc to get the second. We were really stuck about 2 seconds behind Bottas, unable to go anywhere. But it was really the pit stop decision that won us the race, really. When we came in a lap before Bottas did, and we had that lap on the fresh medium tires while Bottas was still on his old tires, and he came in and then he came out. We were side by side. Obviously, I had the warmer tires, so I was able to just get by him, and yeah, from there it was, you know, just defending, and we secured the win. Some interesting happenings elsewhere. Sergio Perez worked his way up to P5 from starting 10th. Verstappen had quite the adventure. He had made his way up to, I think, around 13th or so. And then something happened to Pierre Gasly. He must have spun out at some point. And when he was trying to get corrected, he clipped Verstappen and actually sent Verstappen for a spin. Actually, we'll take a look at that now. Find Gasly. Really not sure what lap this was on for him. Gasly made it as high as P4. And he was actually behind Lewis Hamilton, so he was in the points. So something happened to him in lap 24 that led to him spinning out. And you can see here he's fighting with Sergio Perez in the Red Bull. And, oh, he just lost it out of the, I don't know what turn, the number turn it is. I don't know the turn names offhand here in Brazil, but it was the complex coming up the hill in the middle of the second sector. And that's a really, yeah, that's interesting. So he didn't really even just like sort of snap spin it. He sort of just like lost complete control of the car coming out of this corner. Oh. Lost my spot here. Yeah, again, he's turning. He just, the car just doesn't turn. Goes like, he really just flies off the track. Like, he's completely off the track before he even spins out, really. And then at that point, he just loses complete control of the car. It nearly does a 360, but sort of gets stuck there. Let's go forward with Sergio Perez from his perspective. Yeah, that was a wild spin for Gasly. And we'll go back here to Max Verstappen, so he's coming up through here. This pack of cars, you see Gasly trying to get it going. They all avoid him to varying degrees, and then Verstappen just clips Gasly, his former teammate, and just spins around. And at that point in the race, if Verstappen had gotten by Gasly successfully, he would have been P11. And he would have, I think he would have got into the points, and that could have a real impact on the championship come Abu Dhabi. See Verstappen trying to drive back onto the track. So he didn't fall 2 spots. He did work his way back up to P13. He also had Gasly coming into the pits to fix that wing damage. Yeah, a very bizarre incident. Now look at the championship standings. So the constructors, it's actually gotten now very close, with one Red Bull not finishing in the points, the other finishing 10th or 5th, while both Mercedes were on the podium. The gap between Red Bull and Mercedes is only 20 points. And likewise, it's only a 23-point gap between Ferrari and McLaren, though I think just like what happened in the 2021 season in real life, I think Ferrari is going to stretch that gap a little bit more because they do have the performance edge right now over McLaren. At this point, we are pretty secure in P5 in the constructors, because I don't think AlphaTauri... I was concerned about AlphaTauri there for a little bit, that they might catch us, but yeah, it's going to take a lot from there, like almost 50 or 60 points back. Yeah, so the battles really is for first and second, third and fourth. And then AlphaTauri, they have a pretty sizable gap between us, and then they have a sizable gap to Aston Martin. And then they have a sizable gap to Alpine, who has a sizable gap to Alfa Romeo. So that's really the only battle right now is for, first and second and third and fourth. Driver standings wise, pretty much confirms the quick math that I was doing in my head while that race was going on. So the big story, obviously, Valtteri Bottas jumps to the lead in the championship. He leads by 5 points over Sergio Perez, 10 points over Max Verstappen. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that Verstappen and Perez both had grid penalties for component changes. So obviously that was going to play a role. Lewis Hamilton gains points, but still more than a race win out of first place. So he still has a little bit of ways to go to stay in the title fight. He's still in it, but again, we only have 3 races left, so he really needs to, step it up in Australia and Saudi Arabia. Yeah, so it's 10 points, 35 points separates the top 4, 10 points to the top 3. And Mercedes have the power advantage, or not the power advantage, but the performance advantage over Red Bull as it stands right now, so... Yeah, I'm really amazed at how close all of this has been. At the top of the leaderboard for the championship.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled. Things are looking up after last week, aren't they? How do you think this team will be feeling after that result? It looks like you've invested heavily in the development of new parts. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, so second win of the season comes at Brazil. $4.47 million in the bank. Alright, we have to renew the Zyneto sponsor, which we will do right now. Which means we have to go put it back on the car. So Zyneto has its 3 slots on the car. So the one engine grade did come in with engine upgrade did come in with no issues, from what I can tell. Yep, there it goes. All right. Activities. The department's powertrain durability could use a little bit of assistance. Let's see. Okay, this one looks good. Driver claim and some cash. Team acclaim. Durability team building. Second driver performance review. That all looks solid.
I know we were expecting some new developments to come through, but some of them have failed quality control. We'll need to tell the team what to redevelop via the R&D screen.
So one development came through, one failed. And we don't have the points, which is annoying. Very annoying. Alright, so we have marketing department event.
We have a problem regarding our driver. How do you want to handle this?
Okay. Lungard is due to do an in-house shoot to promote some new merchandise today, but the opportunity has come to have a personal spotlight with a big news outlet. We can only fulfill one. Which one should it be? We could use the team acclaim and the cash, so we'll go with the merchandise.
Not an easy decision, but you handled it well. Thanks.
Oh, and I think we just reached our level 15, so okay, that was weird. Good news, we have officially unlocked our third secondary sponsor. So we can finally get this and get some extra cash coming into the team. So, I have to pick one that sort of suits our, area. Or something that we can achieve. So this will be a pretty boring one, but I'd still like Atlantic. Pretty easy. Complete 75 laps during a race weekend as a team. I like the logo. Money's good, so we will go with Atlantic. And we will have to put that on the car. Figure out where to put it. Definitely put it here. So Atlantic has 2. Distort has 1, 2, 3. Inside Netto is 2. That's 7. And my main sponsor has 4. So I think that's a fair balance. All right, that was all for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We will see you next time for the Australian Grand Prix.